the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
Also, I'm trying to think. There was something else. Something else happened. Oh, so today also the Colts benched Anthony Richardson, and they are going to start Joe Flacco this week. I forget who they play, but I think their record right now. I think they're 4-4. They're still in the race for the division. I think this was the right move. Anthony Richardson just hasn't played well. Look, like Brian, let me tell you something. I'm looking at these stats from the
They play
Texans
the
game.
Vikings.
They play the Vikings. They're definitely gonna need. Yeah, I don't want Anthony Richardson to play the Vikings. I'm looking at these stats against the Texans. Anthony Richardson completed 10 of 32 passes for 175 yards. He only had one passing touchdown and he threw an interception. And he was sacked 5 times. I don't know about you, but that's that's horrendous. You're not going to win football games with 10 completions on 32 attempts. And then he took himself out of the game when it was in the fourth quarter. Like, you're in the game, it's crunch time, and you take yourself out of the game. You talk about, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm running too much. Like, dude, you're the quarterback, man. Like, you're the leader of the football team and you're taking yourself out. You know how crazy that is? I've never heard of that before. It's the first time I've ever seen a quarterback just take himself out of the game because he was tired. That's insane to me. What was your reaction to that? Hearing Anthony Richardson explain that he took himself out of the game because he was tired.
Absolute foolishness. I mean, come on now. You're supposed to be the franchise QB, and you already sliding on thin ice with your play. Now you taking yourself out the game because you're tired. Everybody on that field at that time of the game is tired. Everybody. From the linemen to the receivers to the corners to the D linemen to the linebacker state, everyone's tired. That is a horrible excuse. And especially with a QB, it's not like you running every play. I think he had like two back-to-back runs and he wanted to take himself out the game. Buddy,
6 rushing
no.
attempts.
Like what are we talking about here? And honestly, I think that is one of the main reasons that led to his benching outside of him playing like garbage. Because how you going like it's definitely I guarantee that because I know how we all know how NFL locker rooms get. I bet you I'm willing to bet money that someone was like, this dude we supposed to come out here and fight for you every week, and you subbing yourself out because you're tired? That probably didn't
Yeah.
sit well with the locker room. So they was like, this dude already playing like garbage, and now he want to take himself out the game. Nah, I ain't rocking with that. So I'm pretty sure the coaches read the sentiment around the law was okay. We got to do something because we're gonna lose the team at this rate. Might as well do it while you're still in it, I suppose. Than having to everything just crumbles down by continuing to play
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson. But but as far as the benching itself, I mean, is anyone really surprised? Everyone was like, this is a project player, and no one was really expecting him to be good. Well, people that watch film and wasn't being
Yeah.
blinded by combine performances. But yeah, I was like, he wasn't good in Florida. Like, I don't understand. People was trying to gas him. Oh, he could be Josh Allen. I'm like, oh brother, here we go. And we said it when he got drafted. I said Josh Allen is going to get a lot of GMs in trouble because they're gonna think they can build and mold these projects, and it's just not gonna work. Like the man is struggling with Shane Steichen. I think he might be a lost cause. I know it's only 10 games into his career, but I mean, dang.
Where's the growth? Where's the growth? What has he improved at? Like, seriously, there's honestly, like, yes, he's had a limited number of starts, but what game can you point to where you say, man, he really improved on this flaw that he had coming out of college? I don't see it. I don't see no improvement. I don't see no flash besides his running. That's the concern. So I was looking at this post on Twitter that talked about the quarterbacks, the young quarterbacks that have been benched. Pretty much, they've had a short leash. They talked about how Anthony Richardson is 22, he got benched. Bryce Young, 23, he got benched. Trey Lance, 24, he got benched. Justin Fields, 25, benched. Will Levis, 25, benched. Zach Wilson, 25, benched. Mac Jones, 26, benched. Kenny Pickett, 26, benched. And the whole argument is that the NFL has a QB development problem. Here's my thing. I agree with that sentiment, and that the NFL does have a QB development problem, because what happens is these organizations, they don't look at their QB and say, hey, they're not ready yet. So maybe, just maybe, we should sit them down for a year, or sit them down until the end of the season, because they're Anthony Richardson. He's a raw prospect. He's just not ready from a mental standpoint and from a fundamental standpoint to start on a consistent basis. So why not bring in a veteran QB that's been around the league, that can compete against your rookie QB, meaning you're in training camp and your rookie QB is going to have to play really, really well if they're going to be able to succeed that veteran QB. But nah, this is what these organizations want to do. They want to bring in a QB that's not going to test their rookie QB. They want to bring in a QB that's not going to challenge their rookie QB, because they want to do everything they can to start their rookie QB as fast as possible. And that's how you make mistakes. That's how you get bust QBs, because these organizations are impatient. They don't want to put in the work in order to make sure that these QBs succeed. And that's why you get a Zach Wilson. That's why you get all these bust as QBs, because they don't do their job effectively. They're not patient enough. And that boils down to the ownership. The ownership, they're the ones responsible for it. It's not the GM, it's not the scouts, it's the ownership, because they're putting so much money. They want to sell tickets, and that's all they really care about, the bottom line, which is the money. And that's the problem. That is really the problem. If you don't have a surefire prospect that's ready to play right away, like a Jaden Daniels, like a Caleb Williams, you shouldn't be starting your QB early, because they're just not up here. They're not ready yet. And that's fine. Patrick Mahomes was not ready yet his first year in the league. And look at him. He's the best quarterback we've ever seen, in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers as well. These QBs are just not ready yet. And these organizations just time after time after time just keep making the same mistakes because of greed, because of money. And it's just nasty work. With Trey Lance,
that was
that's
a
a
little
different
different.
story.
That's a different, because the
He's
Niners had
just a
literally
lost.
everything in place. Yeah,
That was he was just a lost cause. Like, he did it to himself, because everything
he
was
shouldn't
there.
have been
He
drafted that
sat
high in
for
the
a
first
year.
place.
No. He barely had any reps in college. Like, that was just the Niners screwing up. But Anthony Richardson, dog, like, they should have sat him down for a year. They should have brought it. Matter of fact, they did. They brought in Gardner Minshew. But they didn't feel like, hey, let's start Gardner Minshew instead of Anthony Richardson. They just decided to put Anthony Richardson in the fire. He got injured, and now we're in this predicament. And now he's going on the bench.
Yeah, I got a stat for you in regards to Anthony Richardson. It says Anthony Richardson ranks 222nd in completion rate, 50% among the 225 QBs with 250 plus dropbacks since the year 2000. And I'm gonna list some notable names of dudes he is behind in completion percentage. So we got Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, Curtis Painter, Ryan Lindley. I don't even have any heard of some of these dudes. He's just one spot above Tim Tebow. So let me tell you something. That is some horrible company to be in, because all of them dudes ain't last long in the league. So hey man, unless he gonna learn to start running routes and stuff or play running back, yeah, it ain't looking too good for Anthony Richardson.
Let me tell you something. I know exactly who Ryan Lindley is. He played for the Arizona Cardinals, and he was, in my opinion, one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play football in the NFL. Like, ever start an NFL game, and he was god awful. He was their third QB on the Cardinals, and my God, I remember he started a playoff game. I think it was against the Panthers, maybe, and he was horrible. He was absolutely abysmal. This was the year Carson Palmer had an MVP caliber season, but he got injured when they were like undefeated, I think it was. And he came, and then I think they put in, I forgot who the QB was, but the backup they had was pretty solid. But then that backup got hurt too, so they had to put in Ryan Lindley, and that dude was god awful. And the fact Anthony Richardson is in conversations with that dude, that means he is hot garbage, beyond saving. I'm looking at man, I'm looking at just all the passing stats right now. Anthony Richardson is 27th in QBR. He is 32nd in passer rating. My God, he's behind Bryce Young and Mason Rudolph and Will Levis and Spencer Rattler and Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, Aiden O'Connell, Deshaun Watson. He's behind all those dudes. He is that bad, ladies and gentlemen. He is a horrible QB, and he seems like a good dude, just off of the interviews I've seen. But my God, there comes a time where it don't matter if you're a good dude or not. You got to perform, or else the organization going to look at you like it might be time to invest in another QB. And right now, it's just not looking too good. He is a bust. He's looking like a bust right now. I don't see how it gets better from here.
Me either. But you know what the best, they wouldn't be in this situation if they just did right by Andrew Luck. They let him get killed behind that O-line for years. And look, Andrew Luck would have been one of the best QBs in the league. But all you had to do was protect him for a few years. Couldn't even do that.
Yep. One of the biggest what if stories in NFL history is what if the Colts didn't, because by the time they got an offensive line, Andrew Luck was already beat up. He was on like his last legs. Like it was literally his last year that they finally got an offensive line and they finally got a competent offensive minded coach in Frank Steichen before he got exposed. And then he retired the next year. It's really unfortunate because the Colts, Frank Wright. I said Frank Steichen. Why did Eagles ties? I combined them. I fused them together like it was Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, man. Frank Wright. He was a competent offensive minded coach before he had his little things, whatever. And unfortunately he went to the Panthers and then had his little stint there. But regardless, they had a great succession plan, but the organization failed them, and now they're in QB purgatory.
Just let me be me.